Hello everybody and welcome to week number 3 of the Quake Pro League. My name is Ketchup and I'm joined on the desk by Flea, and we've just had our Europe and CIS portion done and dusted. We're going to kick off now into the Americas. What do you reckon of the evening?
I mean, what we've got ahead of us?
Yeah.
Great matches, I think. We've got Dramis and Whaz first, and then the Hang versus Effortless second, but I think that the obvious two highlight matches of the day are going to be Nosfa versus Chain. I think that is a map that a lot of people are really looking forward to, and then you've also got Rafa versus Saigib to close out the evening, so I think that especially those last two games are worth keeping an eye out for.
I think with how America has gone so far, for me the story is always going to be, can someone actually take it to Rafa? I think that there's definitely no getting around the fact that I would say personally that EU and CIS is a bit more stacked than the Americas region when it comes to Duel. When it comes to Duel in particular, at no discredit of the players by any means. I just think of just how QuakeCon went and the results there. They take in a big factor, but at the same time, Rafa has been able to take out a couple of players so far that someone might think may be able to kind of upset him early on, and he's been just fine. We have got, I believe, the schedule coming up so we can see what to expect throughout the course of the day. Kicking things off, of course, with Dramis and Whaz playing first. There is a 0-0-0-0-0-0 by these guys, because genuinely the prediction is hard to call. No one really knows how to predict this one. We don't have a lot of prior information, and it's genuinely one of those matches where genuinely who knows. Tahang and Effortless are going to be going head-to-head, and as you can see, Tahang heavily predicted to win by the expert prediction. Nosfa and Chain, a match you personally said you were very excited for, a lot more evenly matched when it comes to expert prediction, and then finishing things off with Rafa and Saigib. And I talked about whether someone can bring it to Rafa. I feel like we're reaching a point where maybe Saigib is the last person in the Americas that Rafa is yet to face, that we just need to see if Rafa will be challenged in this portion of Pro League, or whether it will just wait until lands.
I think that if Chain has an extraordinary good day, he could probably also do it. I think he was the one who ended Rafa's insanely long winning streak online on the leaderboards and caused him to lose quite a bit of elo at one point.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, so it can definitely happen, but I would agree with you. I think Saigib right now is probably one of the last real contenders that Rafa has against his absolute dominance going into the rest of Stage 1. And about this first map, Dramis versus Whaz, at this point they've only run into each other at LAN once in the past, and that was at QuakeCon, and that was actually Whaz winning 2-1. But it was not at all an extremely convincing or one-sided matchup, so the prediction is indeed very hard to call.
I think just naturally quite even, but I know Dramis has recently been, like some of our rising stars in Europe, Dramis has just been exceptionally eager to just try and get in there and ascend further than he normally can. He's not normally on a lot of people's radar, but he has these moments of greatness where you just watch him play and it's, oh wow, what was that? These real moments of skill and even things like that, just moments of composure. It's hard to call how well I think he's going to do throughout the course of the Pro League. We'll have to wait and see, and that's what these weekly broadcasts are all about. Remember, guys, those that have just joined us for the Americas portion, this might be your first week of watching. The Quake Pro League is about weekly online competition. Every map matters. Every map mappers? That's not a word, nor is that a sentence. Every map matters is what I was trying to say, and we're going to be doing this over the course of many, many weeks, ultimately leading on to a LAN, the first one being Luca Comics and Games in a few months' time, and these players are all trying to reach the level with which they will be sent out there.
Yeah, and I think that we can also expect many of these North American players to actually start performing a lot better towards the end, because so far you really have seen Rafa and the Hang dominate, but they're also really only the two sponsored players for a long time in NA, so they've obviously got a lot more incentive to practice and to stay on top of their game, whereas many of the other players, they just play a little bit leading up to a tournament, but other than that, they don't have that much incentive or opportunity to really play at the same level. But right now with the Pro League, as you said, week after week after week, these players, they're incentivized, they're encouraged to play, so maybe if they put in that consistent effort, they might really shoot up in the rankings near the end.
Which does bring us to our next opponent, Whaz, a legendary team player, but this is Duel. This is the era of Duel for Quake Champions. So the question's going to be, is Whaz able to hang with the rest of America's greatest in a 1v1 setting? And I think that's what these weekly broadcasts are about trying to demonstrate. I think, definitely you can't deny his skill, as you can clearly see in some of these ridiculous clips. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Whaz's growth throughout the course of Pro League.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely an amazing player, but as you said, he's primarily known as a team player because back with Liquid, he had a period of extreme dominance as their sacrifice team, or on their sacrifice team, rather. So it's going to be interesting to see how well he can translate that into dual gameplay as well, which is a game, or a game mode rather, that we don't really know him that well for.
Well, we'll have the picks and bans soon enough, and on a personal note, I think I'm more interested to see the the sort of challenger phase for the Americas a little bit more, because that's got some North American players that I think are really, really eager to try and take out, and that's why I think the alarm bells will be for some of the players here. We've got the picks and bans ready to go, starting things off with Molten Falls, Blood Covenant, and then finishing things off with the Ruins of Sarnath. Ruins of Sarnath, for me, definitely seems like more of a North American map, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a map that have we even seen it today? I don't even think so.
I think this is the first time we've seen it, for sure, yes.
It's definitely a map that's more played in NA. Another one I feel like is Veil, even though we've seen quite a bit of Veil today, but usually I also feel like it's a map that you see more often in the NA crowd. And speaking of Molten Falls right away, we're actually going to see Slash being played. First Slash we're seeing today going up against Ranger, then Blood Covenant will be the Doomslayer versus the Visor, and then finally we're gonna get Anarchy versus Galena.
By no means do you underestimate the Slash for Dramis. I think Slash might be one of his strongest champions, if not his current strongest. The main majority of clips you kind of watch with him, where those highlight reel moments where you're like, oh wow, that was sick. Most of the time he's playing Slash during those moments, and there's a reason I think if someone goes with the champion immediately, sometimes that's because they're naturally, I think, the most comfortable on that champion, and they want to get it before it gets banned away.
Yeah.
Which is another thing we might see if someone's really famous for a champion, or it's very out in the open that they prefer one champion in a competitive setting, then the other guy will say, okay, well, you're not allowed to play it then.
Yeah.
Because then it forces you to use everyone else, which you might be uncomfortable with. So I think, this first map might be a little bit of information for the rest of us. I'm going to go with the expert side of this and just say I don't know how this one's going to go. I really, genuinely do not know.
I really have no idea myself. This is just all up in the air.
Sorry, guys, if anyone was for whatever reason expecting or wanting a prediction from me. I don't suppose many out you would want that, especially when it comes to this kind of matchup. But yeah, it's very hard to call. But what we are going to get from this series is information all the same. I think we will have more information on how these guys go back and forth after the Pro League happens today, and then we can talk about it a bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very difficult to call. In the previous 2 weeks, I believe they have both lost their match on the online stage of the Quake Pro League so far. But going to be very difficult to call. On that note, though, it looks like we're about to jump into the start of this game. We've got Dramis, we've got Whaz, and we're immediately on the Slash's point of view. Always such a joy to watch. Such speed, such grace, and instantly getting the railgun before moving on to Mega.
So much open space on the Molten Falls for Slash to just dance around and go where she needs to be, and it really is a treat to watch, honestly. I'm so glad they put this champion in the game.
Yeah.
But now, it's all about that opening play, isn't it? One spawns near Mega, one spawns near Heavy.
Yeah.
Slash able to move around significantly faster. The Plasma Trail immediately popped.
I like the start from Dramis, although now it's no longer the case, but for a very long time he actually denied rockets. He had Railgun because that's the weapon that he went to right from the start, and then picked up his own rockets and LG, so he had a weapon advantage for quite some time now. Whaz has managed to equalize that at this point, but Dramis right now looking very stacked himself.
There's always that air of tenseness at the beginning of a map, isn't there? Who's going to score first blood? A wonderful rocket, and a second one to make Whaz nice and weak. Dramis sticking around. The bluff on the orb, and actually fear that Dramis may have stuck around a bit too long, but Whaz too weak to challenge. Dramis using the Plasma Trail now. He's going to try and beat him towards Mega, and he can indeed, and Whaz has to be so careful and get out of there.
Yeah, he had that health bubble and small armor, and that's what's keeping him alive at this point, but he will get caught out on the stairs, but out of LG, misses the rail, and almost getting him turned around right there. That should have been Dramis' frag. If he had like 10 more cells of LG, would have been a definite frag, but unfortunately for him, it didn't pan out that way.
Well, fortunately, Dramis was able to survive, but Whaz beats him to Heavy and hits an easy rail. to score first blood. Dramis, I think, almost an air of panic going up that jump pad. I mean, Whaz, there was no way he was missing that shot. No way.
After that second heavy, it really looked as if the first frag was going to go Dramis' way, but Whaz, beautiful turnaround, excellent rail, and now looking to manifest himself onto that heavy as well. We've got 5 seconds before the item spawns. Little bit of a standoff right here. Dramis loops back around, and look at that LG. Perfectly just catching Whaz and melting him into the ground.
So now Dramis rewarded with not only a frag, but Whaz fresh off the spawn with only a rocket launcher. And now he's got this frag. It's going to be the mega for Dramis. Yep. And I mean, that's it. That's a best case scenario. You score a bonus frag off the spawn. You've got one of the mega pickups. Dramis has a lot of life to work with if he needs to land the LG, which he does. Okay, nice.
Yeah, his LG has been phenomenal so far, hitting so much, and now trying to read Whaz off the spawn, but oh no, he gets the read completely wrong! Still doing so much damage, that should still be his frag, but wow, he really thought that his opponent was going to spawn at rockets and move to rail, but before he knew it, Whaz had just taken heavy right behind him.
That's a little bit of slash-specific movement there, actually. I really do think that Dramis, there's a reason he went slash like as early as possible.
Yeah.
But now Whaz getting some damage, eyeing up the fact that he's very low on ammo. Eats a rocket for breakfast. And okay, Whaz now. Back in just a little bit. You can hear that plasma trail from a mile away. Misses. Oh, the rail. I think that might have just been a wrong weapon choice, honestly.
Yeah. And the rockets from Dramis, that were just amazing shots right there. Mega will be the next item to spawn. Dramis landing a nice rail before it's getting picked up, and Whaz right now does have a little bit of armor to work with after picking up that small one. Heavy will be next, 5 seconds to go. Dramis has position, but in comes Whaz using the orb even. What an aggressive play, and that's one of the few champions that you can do that with.
Can I just say shoutouts to Slash's leg perfectly spiraling out and hitting the camera in the face there. I love the new gifs for this game, it's so good.
Excellent opening rail right there coming out of Whaz.
It was so good, it was such a good... Alright, moving on.
Moving
on. Take 2.
Mega will be going to Whaz, and he's racing over towards Heavy. Actually finds Dramis. Dramis, can he get away? He does have a pretty decent stack to work with, actually. But it will be Heavy going to Whaz.
Yeah, Dramis is spending a little bit of time to try and not necessarily challenge every pickup. And some of Dramis' deaths have come down to, I think, him essentially just... when you're playing someone like Slash, who can be anywhere she wants to be, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to just try and challenge every single pickup. You don't necessarily need to challenge every single one. You know, sometimes you can just sit on the lead you have. And Dramis going now into a defensive style. I think this is the first time we've seen him just sit and wait around a little bit, without being in a position where Whaz can just zip in, orb, and then kill him. You know? Yeah. And that's how some of these fights have gone. Dramis tries to go in and out. Very happy he didn't use that jump pad, because he just... Again, that's what got him killed at the very beginning, the panic use of it. And does miss the rail, that's unfortunate. Whaz with the last minute turnaround too. I don't think he was actually ready for Dramis to have that angle at all.
Yeah, no, and that would have been a kill shot too. If that rail had landed, that would have definitely extended Dramis' lead. But right now, Whaz will be the one to take the mega health, and he's on to the chase. Heavy was stolen last time around by Dramis, and it looks like it will be going the Slash's way once again. He's still gonna make a move on it, and Dramis actually not having perfect position. Rockets, fortunately for Whaz, not really doing the damage he was hoping for right now.
But Dramis able to push Whaz away. Oh, that was such a good shot. And now Whaz in a bit of an interesting position. He's now got a lot of pickups around the map, and with the Mega about to spawn, Whaz, it takes him a bit too long to actually challenge for it. He's now going to have to try and get some damage on retreat. I mean, that was a bit of a miracle rail to try and shoot. And yeah, it doesn't teleport. Thankfully, it does not. That would have been a death sentence.
It was a good play, shooting the orb as well, but only if he would have gotten unreturned damage on the rail. So he landed his shot, but Dramis did the same. Excellent trap. Dramis is ready for it. Rockets him right in the face and finishes it off cleanly with LG as well. And Dramis extending his lead 6-3. This is getting a bit difficult for Whaz. Out comes the plasma trail. The rockets are perfect, and Whaz does just jump through and pick up Mega.
Not the end of the world for Dramis. I think by all means he would have preferred taking that frag, but still looking at a decent stack. Can be defensive if he wants. He has to concede that heavy. Didn't really have nor the position or stack to try and fight that and get away with his life, but now he's got a lot of weaponry. He's got the base stack. And in many ways, as Slash, that's what you really need, especially if you hit rails. Unfortunately, that missed. Almost didn't, but
Yeah, and the current stacks are just a testament to how good Dramis' combat skills are, because look at that, Whaz was 100-100 after having taken both Mega and Heavy. So that just shows that Dramis, despite being out of control, is really still hitting the shots, putting out the damage that's allowing him to stay alive. And of course he's got that slash, that mobility, manages to just dance away out of the grasp of his opponent, but still not playing entirely passive. That's a bad rocket to take though. Whaz is going to go after him with a rocket jump. But at this point, it's already too late, and Dramis is far and safe around the corner.
This is very much, to me, a champion matchup. This is a game of Dramis, who very much wants to go in with Slash. A lot of the stuff that he's doing is Slash-specific. Even if this map does go to Dramis, I'm interested to see how the rest go when Slash automatically is available. I truly think that this is a comfort pick for Dramis, that he just, uses this champion a lot, it seems to me.
Yeah.
Whenever we watch him play competitively, he's normally rocking the Slash. Does get railed, though, and it's a bad undoing where Whaz can get the armor at the same time.
Oh, the rockets from Dramis are sick. Whaz just... He knew he had the frag, he knew Dramis didn't have that much to work with, and he wanted to extend, or rather close, the gap between them score-wise, but Dramis just turns it right back around, and that's disastrous for Whaz. 2 minutes to go, 3 frags down. What can he do? He's got his Ranger Orb ready. He might be able to make a move on Heavy right here. No, too far away.
Yeah, with 2 minutes on the clock, I think Dramis is definitely going to go for a change of pace. Whaz is nowhere to be found. It's kind of interesting, actually, that he's allowing Dramis to maintain this full level of control when he hasn't got time. He hasn't got much time to make a comeback happen. And yeah, he's just looking for the rail angles. Even if he eats a rail shot here, which he hasn't actually, he hasn't got much to worry about. A minute and a half, Whaz has a lot of work to do. While Dramis maintains a stack, he can just run away. He has more speed, more mobility. Whaz has already shown us that he is struggling to catch him.
Yeah. Dramis is just going to take or make good use of the last minute and 20 seconds, actually coming right back in. And look at that, Dramis definitely not going full passive just yet. Once again, another frag on the board, misses a crucial rail. But still, Mega will be his to take, and at that point, yeah, 1 minute to go, 3 frags, was out of position, out of stack, and will this be another kill? It will be. Dramis 8-4.
We've just gone back into a position where the longer it takes for Whaz to even make something happen, it's time going down. And now with 50 seconds left on the clock, Dramis... I'm actually kind of surprised Dramis is even trying to stick around.
Yeah.
Because like this game is won. He just needs to run away now. Just don't let him find you.
Oh!
Oh, ring out!
Off you go.
Bonus frag and a half.
And you saw Whaz just holding backwards, trying to land on the ledge, but no, the momentum carried him off the map and into his demise. And Dramis, yeah, at this point, 20 seconds left on the clock. It's no longer possible at all to make up for this deficit. This is a victory lap.
For sure. That's just going to be Whaz getting a bonus kill. Nothing can be done. Dramis taking map number 1. So that was... in a series where we weren't sure what to expect, I think Dramis doing well with Slash was one of the things you could put a safe bet on.
Yeah.
Because it just seems to be a comfort pick for him. And he is going to take that first map. Importantly, though, Slash is no longer going to be available. So we'll see what happens in the rest of this series when he hasn't got, I guess what you could say is like a comfort pick is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
So how, Blood Covenant's next. I mean, that would have actually been another good map to pick Slash on.
Yeah.
But it looks like to me, potentially we saw the Slash picked because he doesn't want it to get banned out. Doesn't want to run that risk.
Could very well be.
So
interesting scoreboard too, by the way, at the end there, because Dramis had actually over 1,000 more damage, and he had less major items taken. So that just shows how good his combat skills are and how he's using that slash so well that it allows him to shut down Whaz so often and do a lot of damage whenever it was opportune for him. And next up, map will be Blood Run, and I think that this is going to be very difficult for Whaz because he is playing as Visor against Doomslayer. Visor has very little mobility, he's got that piercing side of course, but if you're trailing, that's very difficult to work with.
Well, I strongly do think that what we saw here was a sort of like Slash specific result. I mean, so much of these frags and so much of what that's just so unfortunate. So much of what we saw was a direct result of just Dramis being talented with this champion. That essentially, like, I'm just very curious to see what happens now. He's going to have to use someone else. I'm not, by no means, I'm not calling him a one trick or anything like that. It's just I'm, curious to see what his general play will be like when he hasn't just got that specific lightning fast mobility that Slash brings. It's why he picked her for something like Molten Falls, where we've seen countless times where if it's one champion that doesn't really move around, at least to that degree, versus a champion that can zip around the map, if you have that kind of like sort of pick your fights kind of game plan where you're trying to maintain control, you can zip around the map and get all the pickups.
Yeah.
That works better for champions that can move quickly, and more often than not, that works too.
Yeah, that's true, but this is a very different map. Of course, Molten Falls, wide and open, plenty of places to gather speed, and now we've got Blood Run. Very, very slow map, so many choke points, so many tight corners, not a lot of places you can actually build that speed. I mean, not that these players have the fastest champions to begin with, but still, this is going to plan out entirely differently.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're Whaz in this position, I would assume you just kind of shrug it off and take one map at a time, as these players always do. They just kind of, you can't let previous results get to you in any way. Anyway, players like Razy will always say in interviews they take, even when it was round based back in the day, they'd say they just took it one round at a time. You know, that they wouldn't let anything phase them to the best of their ability. Sometimes that's easier said than done when you're playing in a tournament setting. But fundamentally, it's a new map, it's a new game.
Yep.
We are playing all 3 maps, and it's all about points. It's not about trying to beat specific players, it's about just getting as much points as possible.
Yeah, that's what's going to determine where you place in the end on the ranking, whether you're going to be getting a good position moving into the lands, or whether you're going to have to fight for your survival against the upcoming challengers.
Well, I've just been told we're going into game now, thankfully, so we'll have map number 2. Getting ready, and Blood Covenant.
Yep.
I was not entirely sure whether I had my notes wrong. I'd written down Blood Covenant, but I didn't want to say it just in case I was wrong.
I had Blood Run, so maybe changing the graphic at some point.
They're both maps with blood in it,
Yeah.
But the visor, I mean, the pick still makes sense. The visor, the Doomslayer to make sure you can kind of navigate the high ground, which I'll always say is dangerous for a champion like Doomslayer. And then, I mean, there's just so many places you can go on Blood Covenant. The visor is one of the best picks. Dramis gets first blood, very, very weak, but there's plenty of pickups around the map to stack regardless.
Yeah, Dramis right now immediately getting that first frag. Mega will be up in just a second, so we'll be able to stack right up, but instead he's just going to make a move onto Heavy. That should allow Whaz to take Mega, but Dramis will of course take the opposite item. Heavy will be going to him. He's got all the weapons to work with, and that I think is something that Whaz is trying to amend right now, because he probably doesn't have the railgun yet, won't even need it, the rocket into the LG, and that was such a ballsy play, my god.
It was just a clean break, wasn't it? It was just, I'm going to rocket jump up, hit the combo by knocking you up as well.
Yeah.
The LG was sublime, and that's actually not the first time in this series that Whaz has gone for those sort of like big combat plays.
Yeah.
I just feel like he just got out-mobilitied in the last map, and we'll see whether that carries over here on Blood Covenant, but those kind of big plays, going for them early too, where it's less crucial if you mess up.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this time he's going up against Doomslayer, so that's a lot less mobile of a champion than Slash was, so maybe it'll make it a lot easier for him to actually stay on top of his opponent. Mega will be up first, but there's very little of a delay between the 2 major items, so it doesn't look like either player will be able to establish full control or a rotation just yet. And Whaz is onto the chase.
Very, very back and forth start to this map, isn't it? As now 2 minutes are already gone. A lot has happened in a small space of time, but Whaz looking at a decent stack. There really isn't much of a delay at all between the 2 major pickups here, so are we going to play this game of just I trade you, you trade me, or is someone going to try and go for a big play here? Maybe steal it away. Piercing Sight gets used. Immediate information. It's now Dramis run, but oh no!
Yeah, messes up the jump, but either way I don't think it would have mattered that much. Dramis had gotten really far away from him. He really didn't do that much damage with that string of LG. So in the end I don't think it was that big of a loss, but now he's hearing his opponent below him, knows exactly where he is, tries to cut him off. Dramis retaliating with some LG up. He comes with that 100 damage rocket. That's going to be the sign. And the rail as well. Whaz, this is his time. This is the opportunity. He knows Dramis is down there.
He's only got 2 more rails though, and then he's going to be out of ammo. He does hit the shot, but he misses the rail, but he needs to know that he doesn't need the rail anymore. He doesn't realise he's out of ammo though. Yeah, he goes for the swap now finally. Will collect the rail. Oh, he's still only got 1 shot. Oh no, 0 shots.
Yeah,
My bad. He's already blown it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Whaz probably could have done more of that. He probably realized just how low his opponent was, and I think he would have done a really good job dropping straight down from rail rather than trying to go all the way around the way he did. But here we go. Retaliatory rail.
Oh, now he knows.
Through. Yeah, no rail.
Now Whaz knows he's out of ammo. Probably wishing that he jumped to the left on the way down
Yeah,
there.
I think so
Near
too.
heavy.
And now we are seeing a difference between the item timing. So there's around 10 seconds between Mega and Heavy, and that could set one of these players up to take full control. Whaz, I think he heard Dramis right there, realized he's got a shot at taking Heavy, goes for it as fast as he can.
And the problem is, he's quite fortunate actually in essence. He's now been able to undo some of the damage, but the problem he had running out of rail ammo was it would have been kind of tricky for him to fight for that heavy if Dramis was there waiting for him, because Dramis would have had rail. And he catches him here. That's going to be a clean fight.
What an excellent play from Dramis right there. You saw that Whaz thought he was going up on the top level, so he's shooting his rockets in that doorway, but Dramis just drops right on down, reads him perfectly, and lands so much LG damage down there. Good rail rodder as well. Whaz is right now still pretty low, manages to restack a bit on the health and armor that's over at the pillars, but still Dramis is in full control. But that LG, absolutely no damage dealt by Dramis, and that's putting Whaz back in the driver's seat.
Dramis in a bit of an odd position. He has the lead, but it doesn't seem to me like he's particularly in control. He's having to spend a lot of time running around collecting those smaller pickups. And that missed rail. Okay, that's a bit of a lifeline for Dramis now. Can go towards the heavy and at least hold an angle. Some nice little tri-bolt, but more work that needs done. How long can he sit and defend Mega before it inevitably spawns? That's the question now. Whaz has his next objective set, and it is going to be the Mega. Gets some entry damage, but not enough, so he's not going to dedicate.
Yeah.
A very respectful game so far. Neither player wants to overextend. 5 minutes have already gone down, halfway through.
Dramis looking for that long distance damage. Will find some with the rocket actually. And now 10 seconds between the two items. This could be really huge for Dramis. And look at that defensive tribal damage. Out comes the rocket jump. Was actually still waiting, but oh, the double jump sends him flying clean over that rocket damage. And Dramis looking good and set to take both major items. A little bit of a slip up on the jump right there, but won't matter in the end. Mega goes his way as well.
I like that little unique piece of tech you can do with Doomslayer, where you can essentially ledge grab off a jump pad without needing to be near the edge, right? Just double jump right before you hit the point, and you can end your jump pad abruptly.
Yeah.
Very unique, Dramis. Just Doomslayer, sorry.
Just want to say, that was 98 damage of the tri-bolt right there. That's essentially a direct rocket that Dramis just whipped out with the tri-bolt at that point.
His defensive spam has just been on point. It really has. Just has lost glimpse, actually, of where Whaz is for a split second. Didn't realize he was right near rail, and Whaz is still holding his angle. He's looking for his moment.
Trap, yeah.
And yeah, he's finally ambushed him, but the moment he ambushed Dramis, there was like no damage to surprise him with. That's very unfortunate. He had him fooled for like a good 5 seconds.
Yeah, he landed a nice rocket at the end still, but at that point Dramis was already putting a lot of distance between the two of them, so not much for him to work with or follow up on. And right now, 3.5 minutes to go.
Dramis playing the long game once more. Looking to delay, looking to run away as much as he can. Whaz has other plans, obviously. Needing one frag to tie things up here, but the Catacombs, if you're trying to play a defensive game, it's very risky sticking down here.
Yeah, absolutely, because you can very easily get jumped on from above, or someone might come around any corner and it's going to be difficult for you to escape from. Heavy will be going to Whaz, so even though Dramis has that 1 point lead, Whaz is really the one collecting all of the items right now. He's in control, and in he comes. He's using that piercing sight. Rockets are solid from Dramis, and actually another one, and a rail as well.
I can't believe he used the jump! Oh my god, you madman! You madman! He's still alive. And this could still go either way. Yeah, Whaz misses that shot and thinks, nah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think both players missed like 3 rails each.
I'm shocked. I'm honestly both shocked Whaz used the jump pad, and I'm shocked Dramis missed. Honestly, that felt like a shot that just, you know, it's set up and you knock him down, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's Pfizer going to do to stop? Oh, what a shot. And now he's looking for it again. Nah, this time Whaz doesn't give it to him. Dramis, understanding he must be elsewhere, gets a little bit of a hit marker. He's got the all-important information now. Can he land it?
Yeah, Mega, next item up. He hears the bounce pad, but Dramis, again, I think he's really switching over into very defensive and avoiding mode, because he heard Whaz go out the bounce pad. He could have done some damage right there, or tried to, but instead he just decided to go for the small armor and get away. And right now, it's heavy machine gun on heavy machine gun. Whaz knows he is outstacked, has to get out of the room. Dramis still tries to go for the tri-bolt, won't find any damage, and now Whaz less than 2 minutes to work with.
He's going to be content keeping him behind. We are running out of time again, and oh, nice little turnaround rocket, but not a lot of damage. Whaz is inevitably going to fall, though, so the patient game has just become a lot more dangerous and difficult to deal with. Whaz taking even more damage. I don't know, where did that rocket come from?
Yeah.
And this is where the frustration might go in. A minute and a half, you got to get 2 frags. Dramis has been running away for a good 10 minutes already. Yeah. So, you know, if you're Whaz, what kind of point do you pick? He hasn't got piercing sight, so he's limited on information besides what he listens to.
And I think that last rocket over there basically just made Whaz change his mind about heavy, because he had position on heavy, but he was hit by that final rocket, and I think he just decided like, nah, he's coming in right now, I gotta get out, and so he had to give up heavy as well. He's got a pretty decent stack right now with though, but 1 minute, 2 frags, Blood Covenant against a Doomslayer, you don't really have much to catch him with. Out comes the LG. Whaz, he's just gonna drop down the Berserk, the punch!
He almost beat that ass, but he didn't. He didn't, but he came so close. And into orbit with you! I don't think Dramis fully expected him to go into the moon there.
Nope.
But he died anyway.
Yeah, and that blast of LG, I think, will seal Whaz's faith. Dramis will win map 1 and 2. I think 30 seconds. It's almost impossible for Whaz to do anything at this point.
And it's this is a good result for Dramis. You know, he's a player that's always looking to do better. I say this about a lot of people, but again, I think Dramis is one of those America's examples, where he's kind of just been silently grinding, silently practicing. Here he is now in the Quake Pro League, and he's doing well for himself. This was important for him. I believe, if I've got my information correct, that we didn't see Dramis actually play last week. He was one of the players that was in the bye session. So, you know, the fact he's able to now go in and have a 2-0 on Whaz in week number 3 when he missed last week, I mean, that's just a good result for him, no matter how this next map goes.
Yeah, and I think it's also a nice confidence boost as well, because back at QuakeCon, the first time these two ran into each other at LAN, it was actually Whaz who won 2-1. So it's great for Dramis to this time being able to turn that around, and that just shows some pretty quick progress on his behalf, winning the next matchup rather. And look at that frag, still such a nice frag from Whaz, so aggressive.
And pretty much the only frag Whaz got in the entire map. Was one of those big bold plays, and dare I say it, Dramis never went near that part of the map ever again after that. He just started playing it way safe. I actually think his entire objective the whole map must have been to play really safe, and that one frag just caught him off guard, because for a split second he went to one part of the map where you can't play reserved and be anywhere near bridge. You know, the second you get stuck near bridge on the stairs and someone knows you're there, it's very, very hard to escape. It's kind of like a point of no return, really. So, you know, he must have made sure to never make that mistake and stay a lot more safe than he was being. Didn't concede any more frags because of it. Well done.
Yep, and that is going to bring us to the third and the final map in this series, which I believe is Ruins, where we're getting Anarchy versus Galena. Any thoughts on that matchup?
I think we've already seen that Dramis is talented with the high-speed champions. Ruins of Sarnath is absolutely a map that can benefit those if you have the mentality for it. You know, it's not easy to play fast champs on this kind of map, especially against a Galena, because you can just run around the corner and just die instantly. You can get deleted, you can knock into a totem by mistake. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and if you're just playing well and having, I think, good risk assessment, if you're playing those light champions, you need to be having a good calculation of, is it worth going around this corner? Is it worth going into this room, etc., etc.? Now Dramis has the 2-0. I think he might be a little bit less anxious on some of those decisions, and we might even see an even looser still version of Dramis compared to what we saw earlier today. He has nothing to lose now.
Yeah, could very well be the case indeed. And this is just, Ruins is a notoriously difficult map for light champions. He's very popular on the map, but the problem is that once you get out of control on Ruins, as a light champion, it's so difficult to get back into, because your opponent can really guess or have a good idea of where you spawn and kind of choke you out of any weapons. And also just the rotation between Mega and Heavy, the way that they're set out, it's so difficult to just get in on that loop, you know, and just force yourself in there, especially when you're a light champion.
Jumping down near Heavy when you're light and they have an ability stocked, or they've got loads of weapons, or they've got loads of armor. They either collect the Heavy halfway and kill you, or they kill you and then collect the Heavy, making the spawn a little bit more of a pain. Yeah, there's definitely some scope here. And depending on the spawn too, Anarchy has got some spawns in this map that might not be particularly favorable. If he spawns near a weapon that doesn't really benefit him too much and you just get a rail, it's like, here we go. Final map, and it is actually Whaz spawning near. Dramis immediately collecting
Oh, nice
LG,
rail.
that was such a good rail! Two. Tries to run away, giving him an
gets
extra
the
boost of
read.
speed. Perfect read.
Oh.
He even factored in the extra speed the rail into Anaki's backside gave him.
Yeah, and then the rocket just perfectly timing it when his opponent exits the doorway. And Whaz, surely he's going to push this. He knows that Whaz has got very little to work with, but does decide to back up. Just denying some small armors.
That is a swift 3-0 though so far. Dramis. It's kind of like you said, right? It's very hard for Dramis to maintain anything that resembles control here because Whaz is just hitting these crucial shots and doesn't even need a rail for this follow-up. Dramis is so weak and very hard to get out of this location.
Yeah.
But in fact, Whaz chose to dedicate, keep Dramis behind, focus on maintaining control instead, taking the heavy, and now if a fight breaks out, I mean, Dramis, just say a prayer. There's no way he's surviving if they... half tempted. Oh, God.
Yeah, he caught sight of him. He knew he was going to go for that. And now we're seeing exactly why it's so difficult to get back into this when you're a light champion. Because you spawn with so little stack to work with, and you've only got 2 small armors, and they're on completely the opposite sides of the map. So it's such a risk just trying to get one of them that it's very difficult to get back in.
Got to go into a potential kill zone to take rail, which is what you need to try and chip away at the life and the stack that the higher champions will take against you. Looking for a moment to go in, and the main weapon you need. Look, Whaz is sitting here and waiting for it. He knows Dramis needs the rail to mount a comeback. And yeah, Dramis tries to take an opening. Almost left himself vulnerable to an angle, though. Surely Dramis won't go down there. And yeah, looking to get a rail shot. Dramis exceptionally weak, but once more, Whaz just keep him weak, keep him behind. Why risk it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Whaz, I mean, we saw right off the bat, he got that first frag and it's just been steamrolling into more and more kills coming his way. And Dramis right now just really struggling, not finding any way to deal with this at all. Small armor will also be going to Whaz. And there we go, Dramis tried to actually cut him off with the LG, but he takes 2 rails for his trouble. Whaz going for the insane flick, won't land it unfortunately. Oh, it's a bit of a crowd pleaser.
It would have been just keeping him further behind, but Dramis were looking at that stack all the time. You know, we mentioned how the light armors are irritatingly far away. If you're a light champion, he's consistently railable, and that's one thing to be nervous about. Gets some rockets, but nowhere near enough damage. Opening the patience. Can't finish it though because the rocket knocking Whaz up himself, messing up his angle.
That was a phenomenal rocket coming out of Whaz right there, because by any count he should have died. I mean Dramis, rocket coming out of Dramis, because it pushed Whaz right on back and stopped him from getting the kill. So Dramis is still fighting back and actually has a stack advantage.
And this patient play, I mean, it's only ever going to benefit Whaz. Dramis is the one that desperately needs to push something. And he's being consistently kept at arm's reach, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a 5-minute warning and 5 kills to nothing. Dramis has a lot of work to do, and he's not hitting as much of these crazy rails as he once was. The problem is, Whaz is, and he's returning the favor happily. Dramis consistently stuck without armor, and if you're just getting railed over and over, then armor's what you need to survive, otherwise you're just a sitting duck.
Yeah, and in theory, this is actually Dramis who should be hitting most of the rails, because Galena is definitely an easier target to get a grip on than Anarchy is. But still, it's actually Whaz who's just landing shot after shot, and Dramis is not finding any way in.
Bit of an interesting one for Dramis, because I think if you missed a week, obviously he has had one of the buys. I believe Whaz did in week 1 as well, if memory serves me correctly. So both of these players have only played 1 week before this result. But I mean, we look at how last week went.
Oh, rockets being exchanged, and it will be Whaz again extending his lead 6-0 right now as we hit the 6-minute mark as well. It's almost poetic.
Whaz lost 3-0 to Chain last week, so any amount of points Whaz can steal away is going to be bonus points at this stage. Dramis may already have the win, but if Whaz is able to play one, Dramis almost dedicating or donating a free kill to Whaz right there, and we almost all saw it. Thank you very much.
That was excellent LG from Whaz, because when you're getting pushed in midair by another player's LG, look at the rocket and the rail! One more piece of damage will send another frag his way, but he can't quite get it in the end. And that means that Heavy will again be going towards Whaz. Dramis is in no shape at all to challenge.
100 rocket from that far. What an impressive shot there from Whaz, who remains on the warpath here. Dramis trying to get away, and no matter how many megas he's able to take, it is the fact that he's consistently stuck without armor that's causing him the problems. Because it's too risky for him to go and challenge for Heavy. If he knows the fact that Whaz will have the totems 3 times now, so the overstack is dangerous. At this point, Whaz doesn't need the mega because he has the totems. Now here comes a risky fight. Whaz has so much stack. He is going to give up the Heavy. No, Dramis pushes away! Completely gives it up. I'm not sure about that. Trying to push away now, but a fight is breaking out, and the stack is in Whaz's favor. There was no way Dramis was surviving if Whaz just hit basic rockets in that situation. I think leaving the Heavy was a bit of a misplay.
No, still not the frag going Dramis' way.
Oh, the shot! And another shot! What is this gameplay from Whaz? Just choosing to turn the dial up to 11 at the last possible second. This is probably going to give him a map. It's going to give him some points, and everyone knows, I mean, he needs these points more than anything. If he can take this map from Dramis, it's going to be not all bad. It's not going to be a win, but it's not going to be a crushing defeat either.
And you gotta keep in mind, he's not just winning points for himself, but he's denying that 2-point bonus going to Dramis' way. And for these two players, they're pretty close in terms of the rankings, so it's really important that you don't just get your own points, but you keep the opponents down as well. And Whaz right now is just putting on a show. Is just gonna go back out there, lands the rail and says, I'm gonna do it once again, and down goes Dramis.
Now kills, they matter too. Maybe they will in the lower ranks, you never know.
Absolutely.
If either of these players are able to quite reach their full potential when we go into challenger territory, and frags are what matters. Every single frag will get factored in here. This is the rail. Oh.
Yeah, gonna miss that one as well. It was actually one of the easier rails of this match, and that's the one that he misses right now. Dramis will, in the very end, land a shot himself. He's waiting behind the teleport because he's trying to force a good spawn going into this next confrontation, trying to chase down his opponent. Knows exactly where Whaz is. The LG comes out, followed by a good rail. But he's gonna need to do a whole lot more than that if he wants to take down Whaz. And look at this, the vertical shots! Can't quite find the final one though.
At this stage, this map's already over. It's unfortunate that Whaz steals away the final rail as well, but whilst this is going to be a map win for Whaz, who is just racking up frag after frag after frag at this stage, we have to take away from the fact that this is Dramis' series, and he's played exceptionally well. Unfortunately, it's kind of all fallen apart on Ruins. He's kind of missing a lot of his shots, making some of these missed decisions. Does finally manage to get a frag on the board, another one. But Whaz is just, I think this is a mixture of perhaps just not taking it as seriously as perhaps he should have. I think, we are in a point where the points will matter down the line. And, well,
and I mean, it's clear that Whaz has got the skills, right? If you're looking at this, 14-3, he definitely could have done better on the previous maps. It just, something wasn't clicking, and Dramis was just so slippery on map 1, and then so commanding with the movement of that Doomslayer on map 2, that it just didn't go his way.
Well, that does mean that it's going to be a 2-1 result here. Whaz taking the final map and Dramis ending things on a 2-1 in his favor. So congratulations to Dramis. He's been able to sort of like maintain, I think, that personal grind he's been on, trying to always level up his game. And it's nice to get a win, when you're starting to grind and the tournament happens and, hey, you can get a victory one week. If anything, it's just a boost for morale. But the morale isn't all of Dramis's. Whaz did get a final map, so there's going to be something to take away for both of them. It's just, in this case, Dramis is the man of the hour.
Especially after he actually lost to Whaz on Quake on 2-1, so kind of a revenge, a comeback from him this time around. And we're gonna see some more replays of those excellent rails, and look at this rocket once again. Whaz getting the perfect read on his opponent several times. He read him like an open book, I think, this time around.
Yeah, and I feel like these kind of weird moments where Dramis just played completely into Whaz's hands, that just straight up wasn't happening in the other two maps. I generally feel like in this final map, maybe Dramis took his foot off the gas pedal, and he was swiftly and rudely reminded why you never do that. You know, the moment I'm not saying you stop taking it seriously, but the moment you're in a situation where you just have this level of just being way too aggressive, you're going around a corner without thinking about it, there's no risk assessment. He was being so careful in the other two maps that this very final map was very uncharacteristic